And there begins my sadness. He bars me the place of a brother. This is it, Adam, that grieves me. And the spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude.
Yonder comes my master, your brother.
Now, sir, what make you here?
Nothing. I am not taught to make anything.
Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, very well. Here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
Aye, better than him I am before knows me. I know you are my eldest brother, and in the gentle condition of blood, you should so know me.
What, boy?
Come, elder brother, you're too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am no villain. I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat till this other hand had pulled out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient. For your father's remembrance, be it accord.
Get you with him, you old dog.
This old dog, my reward? God be with my old master. He would not have spoke such a word.
Is it even so? Begin you to grow upon me? I will physic your rankness. Holla, Charles!
Good morrow to your worship.
Good morrow, Charles. What's the new news at the new court?
There's no news at the court, sir, but the old news. That is, the old Duke is banished by his younger brother, the new Duke, and loving lords have put themselves under voluntary exile with him.
What, you wrestle tomorrow before the new Duke?
Marry do I, sir. I am given, sir, secretly to understand that your younger brother, Orlando, hath a disposition to come in disguise against me to try a fall. I came hither to acquaint you with all that either you might stay him from his intendment or brook such disgrace well as he shall run into.
Charles, I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger, and thou wert best look to it. For if thou dost him any slight disgrace, or if he does not mightily grace himself on thee, he will practice against thee by poison, entrap thee by some treacherous device, and never leave till he hath ta'en thy life by some indirect means or other. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there is not one so young and so villainous this day living. I speak but brotherly of him. But should I anatomize him to thee as he is, I must blush and weep, and thou must look pale and wonder.
I am heartily glad I came hither to you. If he come tomorrow, I'll give him his payment. So, God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. Now will I stir this gamester. I hope I shall see an end of him. For my soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than he. Yet he's gentle, never schooled and yet learned, full of noble device, of all sorts enchantingly beloved, and indeed so much in the heart of the world, and especially of my own people, who best know him, that I am altogether misprized. But it shall not be long. This wrestler shall clear all.
I pray thee, Rosalind, sweet my coz, be merry.
Dear Celia, I show more mirth than I am mistress of. Unless you could teach me how to forget a banished father, you must not learn me how to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
Let us sit and mock the good housewife Fortune from her wheel, that her gifts may henceforth be bestowed equally.
I would we could do so, for her benefits are mightily misplaced.
It's true. For those that she makes fair, she scarce makes honest, and those she makes honest, she scarce makes ill-favoredly. How now, wit? Whither wander you?
Perez, you must come away to your father.
What, were you made the messenger?
No, by mine honor, but I was bid to come for you.
Where learned you that, O fool?
Of a certain knight that swore by his honor they were good pancakes, and swore by his honor the mustard was not. Now I'll stand to it, the pancakes were not, it was good, and yet was not the knight for...
How prove you that in the great heap of your knowledge?
Aye, marry, now unmuzzle your wisdom.
Stand you both for and swear by your beards that I am a knave.
By our beards, if we had them, thou art.
By my knavery, if I had it, then I will. You swear by that, that is not. You are not forsworn. No more was this knight swearing by his honor, for he never had any. Or if he had sworn it away before he even saw those pancakes or that mustard.
Prithee, who is thou the meanest?
One that old Frederick, your father, loves.
My father's love is enough to honor him. Enough. Speak no more of him. You'll be whipped for taxation one of these days.
The more pity that fools may not speak wisely what wise men do foolishly.
By my troth, thou sayest true. Oh, here comes Monsieur Lebeau,
Oh, with his mouth full of news.
which he will put on us as pigeons feed their young. Bonjour, Monsieur Lebeau. What's the news?
Oh, fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport of what color?
Good wrestling, which you have lost sight of.
You tell us the manner of the wrestling.
Oh, I will tell you the beginning of it, and if please your ladyships, you may see the end, for the best is yet to do, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Well, the beginning, that is dead and buried.
There comes an old man and his 3 sons.
I could match this beginning with an old tale. The eldest of the 3 wrestled with Charles, the Duke's wrestler, which Charles in a moment threw him and broke 3 of his ribs. That there is a hope of life in him. So he served the 2nd, and so the 3rd. Yonder they lie, the poor old man, their father, making such pitiful dole over him that all the beholders take his part with weeping.
Alas.
But what is the sport, monsieur, that the ladies have lost?
Why, this that I speak of.
Just men may grow wiser every day. It is the first time that ever I heard breaking of ribs was sport.
Or I promise thee.
Shall we go see this wrestling, cousin?
You must, if you stay here, for here is the place appointed for the wrestling, and they're ready to perform it.
Yonder sure they are coming. Let us now stay and see it.
On, since his youth will not be entreated, his own peril on his forwardness.
Is yonder the man? Yonder?
Oh,
Yes, even he, madam.
He, madam.
Alas, he is too young, yet he looks successfully.
How now, daughter and cousin? Are you crept hither to see the wrestling?
Yeah, I, my liege, so please you give us leave.
Oh, you will take little delight in it, I can tell you. There is such odds in the man. In pity of the challenger's youth, I would fain dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Call him hither, good Monsieur Lebeau.
Do so. I'll not be by.
Monsieur the challenger, the princesses call for you.
I attend them with all respect and duty.
Young man, have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
No, fair princess, he's a general challenger. I come but in, as others do, to try him with the strength of my youth.
Young gentlemen, your spirits are too bold for your years. We pray for you, for your own sake, to embrace your own safety and give over this attempt.
You do, young sir. Your reputation shall not therefore be misprized.
I beseech you, punish me now with your hard thoughts, wherein I confess me much guilty, to deny so fair and excellent ladies anything. But let your fair eyes and gentle wishes go with me to my trial, wherein if I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious, if killed, but one dead that was willing to be so. I shall do my friends no wrong, for I have none to lament me. The world no injury, for in it I have nothing. Only in the world I fill up a place which may be better supplied when I've made it empty.
The little strength that I have, I would it were with you.
And mine, to eke out hers.
Oh, fair you, well, pray heaven I be deceived in you.
Your heart's desires be with you.
Where is this young gallant who so desires to lie with his mother?
Ready, sir?
You shall try but one fall.
I warn your grace, you shall not entreat him to a second.
And you mean to mock me after? You should not have mocked me before. But come your ways.
Now Hercules be thy speed, young man!
Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Come on. Give me one. Give me one. Give me one. Give me one. Come on. Ah!
Oh, no more! No more! No more!
Yes! I beseech your grace. I'm not young with breath.
How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Boys.
I would thou hadst been son to some man else. The world esteems thy father honorable, but I did find him still mine enemy.
Were I my father, cuz, would I do this?
I am more proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and will not change that calling to be adopted heir to Frederick.
Sir, you have well deserved. If you do keep your promises in love, but justly, as you have exceeded all promise, your mistress shall be happy.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. One out of suits with fortune that could give more, but that her hand lacks means. Shall we go, cuz?
Aye. Fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say thank you?
Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Will you go, cuz?
You have with you? Okay, very well.
What passion hangs these weights upon my tongue? I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Ooh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown.
Good sir, I do in friendship counsel you to leave this place. Yes, stay. Albeit you have deserved high commendation, true applause, and love, yet such is now the Duke's condition that he misconstrues all that you have done.
Thank you, sir.
Oh, sir, fare you well. Hereafter, in a better world than this, I shall desire more love and knowledge of you.
I rest much bound unto you. Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from tyrant duke unto a tyrant brother, but heavenly Rosalind.
Why, cousin, why, Rosalind, Cupid have mercy, not a word?
No, not one to throw at a dog.
No, thy words are too precious to be cast away upon curs. Throw some of them at me. Come, lame me with reason.
Well, then there were two cousins laid up, when the one should be lamed with reasons and the other mad without any.
But is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father. Ugh, how full of briars is this working day world!
They are but burrs, cousin. Throw them upon in holiday foolery. If we walk not in the trodden paths of our very petticoats, we'll catch them.
Well, I could shake them off my coat. These burrs are in my heart.
Hem them away.
Well, I would try if I could cry and have him.
Come, wrestle with thy affection.
They take part of a better wrestler than myself.
Is it possible of such a sudden you should fall into so strong a liking with old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
Doth it therefore ensue that you should love his son dearly? By this kind of chase I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly. Yet I hate not Orlando.
No, Faith, hate him not, for my sake.
Why should I not? Doth he not deserve well?
Let me love him for that, and you do love him because I do. Well, oh, look, here comes the Duke.
Where is she?
Hanger.
Mistress! Dispatch you with your safest haste and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin. Within these 10 days, if that thou beest found so near our public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace, let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me. If with myself I hold intelligence or have acquaintance with mine own desires, if that I do not dream or be not frantic as I do trust, I am not, then, dear uncle, never so much as in a thought unborn did I offend your highness.
Oh, thus do all traitors. If their purgation did consist in words, they are as innocent as grace itself. Let it suffice thee that I trust thee not.
Yet your mistrust cannot make me a traitor. Tell me whereon the likelihood depends.
Thou art thy father's daughter. There's enough.
So was I when your highness took his dukedom. So was I when your highness banished him. Treason is not inherited, my lord, or if we did derive it from our friends, what's that to me? My father was no traitor.
Dear sovereign, hear me speak.
Aye, Celia, we stayed her for your sake, else she had with her father ranged along.
I did not then entreat to have her stay. It was your pleasure and your own remorse. I was too young that time to value her, but now I know her. If she be a traitor, why, so am I. We have slept together, rose at an instant, learned, played, eat together, and wheresoe'er we went, like Juno's swan, still we went coupled and inseparable.
He is too subtle for thee, and her smoothness, her very silence, and her patience speak to the people, and they pity her. Thou art a fool. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt show more bright and seem more virtuous when she is gone. Then open not thy lips. Firm and irrevocable is my doom, which I have passed upon her. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live without her company.
You are a fool. You, niece, provide yourself. If you outstay the time, upon mine honor and in the greatness of my word, you die.
Oh, my poor Rosalind, whither wilt thou go? Wilt thou change fathers? I will give thee mine. I charge thee, be not thou more grieved than I am.
I have more cause.
Thou hast not, cousin. Prithee, be cheerful. Knowst thou not the Duke hath banished me, his daughter?
That he hath not.
No, hath not. Rosalind lacks then the love which teacheth thee that thou and I am one. Shall we be sundered? Shall we part, sweet girl? No. Let my father seek another heir, therefore devise with me how we may fly, whither to go, and what to bear with us, and do not seek to take your own change upon you, to bear your griefs yourself and leave me out. For by this heaven, now out at our sorrow's pale, say what thou canst, I'll go along with thee.
Whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest of Arden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us maids as we are to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, the like do you. So shall we pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suits me all points like a man?
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
I'll have no worse a name than Jove's own page, and therefore, look you call me Ganymede. But what will you be called?
Something that hath a reference to my state. No longer Celia, but Aliena.
Oh, but cousin, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
Oh, he'll go along o'er the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Let's away, devise the fittest time and safest way to hide us from this pursuit that will be made after my flight. Now go we in content to liberty and not to banishment.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, hath that old custom made this life more sweet than that of painted pomp? Are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here feel we but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference. Is the icy fang and churlish chiding of the winter's wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, until I shrink with cold, I smile and say, this is no flattery. These are counselors that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, which like the toad, ugly and venomous, wears yet a precious jewel in his head. And this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books and running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it.
Happy is your grace that can translate the stubbornness of fortune into so quiet and so sweet a style.
Come, shall we go and kill us venison? And yet, it irks me the poor dappled fools, being native burghers of this desert city, should in their own confines, with forked heads, have their round haunches gored.
Indeed, my lord, the melancholy Jacques grieves at that. And in that kind swears you do more usurp than doth your brother that hath banished you. Today, my lord, I did steal behind him as he lay along under an oak, whose antique root peeps out upon the brook that brawls along this wood, to which the place a poor sequestered stag, that from the hunter's aim hath ta'en a hurt, did come to languish, and indeed, my lord, the wretched animal heaved forth such groans that their discharge did stretch his leathern coat almost to bursting, and the big round tears coursed one another down his innocent nose in piteous chase, and thus the hairy fool, much marked the melancholy of Jacques, stood on the extremest verge of the swift brook, augmenting it with tears.
But what did Jacques say? Did he not moralize the spectacle?
Oh, yes, into 1,000 similes. First, for his weeping into the needless stream. Poor dear, quoth he, thou makest a testament as worldlings do, giving thy sum of more to that which hath too much, and then being there alone, left and abandoned of his velvet friend. 'Tis right, quoth he, thus misery doth part the flux of company. Anon a careless herd full of the pasture jumps along by him, and never stays to greet him. I quote Jacques, sweep on, you fat and greasy citizens, 'tis just the fashion. Wherefore do you look upon the poor and broken bankrupt there? Thus most invectively he pierceth through the body of country, city, court, yea, and of this our life, swearing that we are mere usurpers, tyrants, and what's worse, to fright the animals and kill them up in their assigned and native dwelling place.
Did you leave him in this contemplation?
I did, my lord, weeping and commenting upon the sobbing deer.
Show me the place. I love to cope him in these sullen fits, for then he is full of matter.
I'll bring you to him straight.
Who's there?
What? My young master? What make you here?
Why, what's the matter?
Oh, unhappy youth, come not within these doors, within this roof, the enemy of all your graces lives. Your brother hath heard your praises. This night he means to burn the lodging where you used to be, and you within it. This house is but a butchery. Abhor it, fear it, do not enter it.
What, would you have me go and beg my food, or with a base and boisterous sword enforce a thievish living on the common road?
No, do not so. I have 500 crowns. The thrifty hire I saved under your father. Take that. Take that. And let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. And, in my youth, I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors in my blood, nor did with unbashful forehead woo the means of likeness and debility. Therefore, my age is as a lusty winter, frosty, but kindly let me go with you. I'll do the service of a younger man in your business and necessities.
Oh, good old man, how well in thee appears the constant service of an antique world, when service swept for duty, not for meed. Thou art not for the fashion of these times, where none will sweat before promotion, and having that to choke their service up, even with the having. It is not so with thee. But poor old man, thou prunest a rotten tree. Thou cannot so much as a blossom yield in lieu of all thy pains and husbandry. But come thy ways. We'll go along together. And ere we have the youthful wages spent, we'll light upon some settled low content.
Master, go on, and I will follow thee to the last gasp and truth and loyalty.
Oh, Jupiter, how weary are my spirits. Oh.
And not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
I pray you, bear with me. I cannot go no further.
For my part, I'd rather bear with you than bear you. Yet I should bear no cross if I did bear for you. For I think you have no money in your purse.
Well, this is the Forest of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden. The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Aye, be so, good Touchstone. Oh, whoa, look you, who comes here? 2 men in solemn talk.
Oh, that is the way to make her scorn you still.
Oh, Corin, that thou knewest how I do love her.
I partly guessed, but I have loved her now.
No, Corin, being old, thou canst not guess. Though in thy youth thou wast as true a lover as ever sighed upon a midnight pillow. But if thy love were ever like to mine, as I think did never man love so, how many actions most ridiculous hast thou been drawn to by thy fantasy?
Oh, into 1,000 that I have forgotten.
Oh, thou didst then ne'er love so heartily. If thou rememberest not the slightest folly that ever love did make thee run to, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wearying thy hearer in thy mistress' praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe.
Alas, poor shepherd, searching of thy wound, I have by hard adventure found mine own.
And I am mine. I remember when I was in love, I broke my sword upon a stone and bid him take that for coming a night to Jane's smile. And I remember the wooing of a peaceful cod instead of her, from whom I took 2 cods, and giving her them again, said with weeping tears, wear these for my sake. We that are true lovers run into strange capers. But as all is mortal in nature, so is all nature and love mortal in folly.
Thou speakest wiser than thou art aware of.
Nay, I shall ne'er beware mine own wit till I break my shins against it.
I pray you, one of you, question that yond man, if he for gold will give us any food. I faint almost to death.
Holly, you clown!
Peace, fool! He's not thy kinsman.
Who calls?
Your betters, sir.
Else they are very wretched.
Peace, I say. Good evening, your friend.
And to you, gentle sir. And to you all.
I prithee, shepherd, if that full love of gold can in this desert place by entertainment bring us where we may rest ourselves and feed. There's a young man with travel, a young maid with travel, much oppressed, and faints for succor.
Ah, fair sir. I pity her and wish, for her sake more than for my own, my fortunes were more able to relieve her. But what is, come see, and in my voice most welcome shall you be.
I like this place, and willingly could waste my time in it.
Under the greenwood tree, who loves to lie with me and turn his merry note unto the sweet bird's throat. Come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
More! More! I prithee, more!
Oh, I don't make you melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
I thank it, more. I prithee, more. I can suck melancholy out of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More. I prithee, more.
My voice is ragged. I know I cannot please you.
I do not desire you to please me. I do desire you to sing. Come, another stanzo. Call you them stanzos?
What you will, Monsieur Jacques.
I care not for their names. They owe me nothing. Will you sing?
More at your request than to please myself.
Well, then if I ever thank any man, I'll thank you. Come, warble, come!
Who doth ambition shine and loves to live in the sun, seeking the food he eats, and pleased with what he gets. Come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither, come hither. Here shall he see no enemy, but winter and rough weather.
I'll give you a verse to this note that I made yesterday in despite of my invention.
Oh, and I'll sing it.
Okay, thus it goes. If it do come to pass that any man turn to ass, leaving his wealth and ease, a stubborn will to please. Duk dame, duk dame, duk dame, duk dame, duk dame, duk dame. Here shall he see grows fools as he, and if he will come to me.
What's Duke Dame?
It's a Greek invocation to call fools into a circle. Look, I'll go sleep if I can, and if I cannot, I'll rail against all the firstborn of Egypt.
And I'll go seek the Duke.
Dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave. Farewell, good master.
Why, how now, Adam, no greater heart in thee. Live a little, comfort a little, cheer thyself a little, for my sake be comfortable. Hold death a while at the arm's end. I will be here with thee presently, and if I bring thee not something to eat, I'll give thee leave to die. But if thou diest before I come, thou art a mocker of my labor. Cheerly, good Adam.
I think he be transformed into a beast, for I can nowhere find him like a man. Why, how now, monsieur? What a life is this that your poor friends must woo your company? Oh, you look merrily.
A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool, a miserable world, as I do live by food. I met a fool who laid him down and basked him in the sun. Good morrow, fool, quoth I. No, sir, quoth he, call me not fool till heaven hath sent me fortune. And then he drew a dial from his poke, and looking on it with a lackluster eye, says very wisely, It is 10 o'clock, thus we may see, quoth he, how the world wags. 'Tis but an hour ago since it was 9, and after one more 'twill be 11. And so from hour to hour we ripe, and then from hour to hour we rot, and thereby hangs a tale. When did I hear the motley fool thus marvel in the time my lungs began to crow like chanticleer, that fools should be so deep contemplative? I did laugh sans intermission an hour by his dial. Oh, a noble fool, a worthy fool! Motley is the only wear.
What fool is this?
A worthy fool, one that hath been a courtier, and says, if ladies be but young and fair, they have the gift to know it. And in his brain, which is as dry as the remainder biscuit after a voyage, he hath strange places crammed with observation, the which he vents in mangled forms. Oh, that I were a fool! I am ambitious for a motley coat.
Thou shalt have one.
Oh, it is my only suit, provided that you weed your better judgments of all opinion that grows rank in them, that I am wise. I must have liberty, withal, as large a charter as the wind, to blow on whom I please, for so fools have. Oh, invest me in my motley, give me leave to speak my mind, and I will through and through cleanse the foul body of the infected world, if they will patiently receive my medicine.
Most mischievous foul sin in chiding sin, for thou thyself hast been a libertine.
Forbear, and eat no more.
I have eaten none yet.
Nor shall not, until necessity be served. He dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
And you will not be answered with reason, so I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost die for food, and let me have it.
Sit down and feed. Welcome to our table.
Speak you so gently. Pardon me, I pray you. I thought that all things had been savage here, and therefore put I on a countenance of stern commandment. But whate'er you are, if ever you have looked on better days, and know what 'tis to pity and be pitied, let gentleness my strong enforcement be, in the which I hope I blush and hide my sword.
True is it that we have seen better days, and therefore sit you down in gentleness and take upon command what help we have that to your wanting may be administered.
There's an old poor man who after me hath many a wary step limped in pure love. Till he first be sufficed, I will not touch a bit.
Go out and find him. We will nothing waste till you return.
I thank ye, and be blessed for your good comfort.
Thou seest, we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play in.
All the world is a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits, their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts, his acts being 7 ages. At first, the infant, mewling and puking in the nurse's arms, and then the whining schoolboy with his satchel and his shining morning face, creeping like a snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace with woeful ballad to his mistress's eye. And then the soldier, full of strange oaths, bearded like the pard, jealous in honor, sudden and quick in quarrel, seeking the bubble reputation even in the cannon's mouth. And then the justice, in fair round belly, good cape in line, with eyes severe, beard of formal cut, full of wise saws and modern instances, and so plays his part. Well, then the sixth age shifts into the lean, slippered pantaloon. Spectacles on nose, pouch on his side, his youthful hose, well saved, a world too wide for his shrunk shank, and his big manly voice turning again towards childish treble, pipes and whistles in his sound. And the last scene of all, that ends this strange eventful history, is second childishness and mere oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burthen. Let him feed.
I thank you most for him.
No head you need. I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not trouble you as yet to question you about your fortunes. Give us some music, and good cousins, sing.
Okie doke. Blow, blow, thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hey, ho, sing hey, ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. The hey, ho, the holly. This life is most jolly. Freeze, freeze, thou bitter skies, that doth not bite so nigh as benefits begot, though thou the waters warp. Thy sting is not so sharp as friend remembered not. Hey, ho, sing hey, ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is feigning, most loving mere folly. The hey, ho, the holly. This life is most jolly.
Oh, yes, it is. If that you were the good Sir Roland's son, be truly welcome hither. I am the Duke that loved your father. Good old man, thou art right welcome as thy master is. Support him by the arm. Give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Not seen him since? Sir, that cannot be. Find out thy brother, or turn thou no more to seek a living in our territory. Thy lands and all things that thou dost call thine worth seizure do we seize into our hands, till thou canst quit thee by thy brother's mouth of what we think against thee.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou. Oh, well, push him out of doors.
Hang there in verse, witness of my love, oh Rosalind. These trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts I'll character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
And how like you this shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life, but in respect that it is a shepherd's life, it is not. Now, in respect it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well, but in respect it is not in the court, it is tedious, as it is a spare life. Look you, it fits my humor well, but as there is no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Hast any philosophy in thee, shepherd?
No more, but that I know the more one sickens, the worse at ease he is. And that he that wants money, means, and content is without 3 good friends. That the property of rain is to wet, and fire to burn. That good pastures make fat sheep, and that a great cause of the night is lack of the sun.
Such a one is a natural philosopher. Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
Then thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
Truly, thou art damned like an ill-roasted egg all on one side.
For not being at court. Your reason.
Why, if thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, then thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin, and sin is damnation. Thou art in a parlous state, shepherd.
Not a whit, Touchstone. Those that are good manners at the court are as ridiculous in the country as the behavior of the country is most mockable at the court. You told me you salute not at the court, but you kiss your hands. That courtesy would be uncleanly if courtiers were shepherds.
Instance, briefly, come, instance.
Why, we are still handing our ewes, and their fells, are greasy.
Why, do not your courtier's hands sweat, and is not the grease of a mutton as wholesome as the sweat of a man? Shallow. A better instance. I say, come.
Our hands are hard.
Your lips will feel them the sooner. Shallow again. A more sounder instance. Come.
And they are often tarred over with the surgery of our sheep, and would have us kiss tar. The courteous hands are perfumed with civet.
Most shallow man, thou worm's meat in respect of a good piece of flesh indeed. Learn of the wise and perpend. Civet is of a baser birth than tar. The very uncleanly flux of a cat. Mend the instance, shepherd.
You are too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest, damned? God help thee, shallow man.
Sir, I am a true laborer. I earn that I eat, get that I wear, owe no man hate, envy no man's happiness, glad of other man's good, content with my harm. And the greatest of my pride is to see my ewes graze and my lambs suck.
That is another simple sin in you, to bring the ewes and the rams together and to offer to get your living by the copulation of cattle. If thou beest not damned for this, the devil himself will have no shepherds.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind, her worth being mounted on the wind, though all the world bear Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind but the fair of Rosalind.
All rhyme, you sew 8 years together. Dinners and suppers and sleeping hours accepted. It is the right butterwoman's rank to mark it.
Out, fool.
For a taste of a heart do lack a hind, let him seek out Rosalind. If the cat will after kind, so be sure will Rosalind. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such as nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosalind. This is the very false gallop of verses. Why do you infect yourself with them?
Peace, you dull fool. I found him on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields bad fruit.
Oh, whoa, peace. Here comes my sister reading. Stand aside.
Come, shepherd, let us make an honorable retreat, though not with bag and baggage, yet with scrip and scrippage.
Thus Rosalind of many parts by heavenly synod was devised, of many faces, eyes, and hearts, to have the touches dearest prized. Heaven would that she these gifts should have, and I to live, and I her slave. Didst thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes, I heard them all and more too, for some of them had more feet in them than the verses would bear.
That's no matter, the feet might bear the verses.
I but the feet were lame and could not bear themselves without the verse, and therefore stood lamely in the verse.
For you who hath done this?
Is it a man?
And a chain that you once wore about his neck? Change you color.
Oh, I prithee, who?
Oh, wonderful, and most wonderful, and yet again wonderful. And after that, out of all hooping...
I prithee, take thy cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
Well, is he of God's making? Wait, what manner of man? Is his head where the hat? Is his beard long? What is he?
Your young Orlando, that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, but the devil take mocking. Speak, sad brow and true maid.
Aye, faith, 'cause 'tis he.
Alas, the day! Oh, what should I do with my Dublin hose? When did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Where and when he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? How parted he with thee? When will thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
You must borrow me Gargantua's mouth first. 'Tis a word too great for any mouth this age's size.
What does he know that I'm in the forest and in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did on the day that he wrestled.
I found him under a tree like a dropped acorn.
Oh, it may well be called Jove's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There lay he, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Oh, though it be a pity to see such a sight, he well becomes the ground.
Cry hollow to thy tongue, I prithee. He was furnished like a hunter.
Ah, Harmann-Hardeman, he comes to kill my heart.
A song without a burden.
Was soft. Comes he not here? Does he slink by? Note him.
I thank you for your company, but good faith, I leave has left myself alone.
And so had I, but yet for fashion's sake, I thank you too for your society.
Well, God be with you. Let's meet as little as we can.
I do desire we be better strangers.
Oh, and I pray you, mar no more trees with writing love songs in their barks.
I pray you mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favoredly.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes, just.
I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened?
What stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You're full of pretty answers. Will you sit down with me and we can rail against our mistress the world and all our misery?
I will chide no breather in the world but myself, against whom I know most faults.
Oh, the worst fault you have is to be in love.
'Tis a fault I will not change for your best virtue. I'm weary of you.
By my troth, I was seeking for a fool, and I found you.
Oh, he's drowned in the brook. Just look but in. You shall see him.
Oh, there I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be either a fool or a cipher.
Oh, I'll tarry no longer with you. Farewell, good senior love.
I'm glad of your departure. Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
Do you hear, Forrester?
Very, very well. What would you?
I pray you, was it a clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Well, then is there no true lover in the forest? Out sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as the clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? I mean, had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
Oh, with this shepherdess here, my sister. Here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Accent something finer than you could purchase and so remove to dwelling.
I have been told so of many, but indeed an old religious uncle of mine, he taught me to speak. He was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well. There he fell in love, and I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
But can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
No, they were not in principle. They were all like one another.
I pray recount some of them.
No, I won't cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man that haunts the forest that abuses our young plants with carven Rosalind on their box. Hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. Whew. If I could meet that fancy monga, I'd give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaked. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's mocks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love. In which cage rushes, I am sure that you are not prison.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not, a blue eye and sunken, which you have not, an unquestionable spirit, which you have not, a beard neglected, which you have not, and then your hose should be unguarded, your button unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as being a lover of yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it. You may as soon make her that you love believe it. But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express so much.
Love is merely a madness. Yeah, yet. I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any so?
Yeah, one. And in this manner, he was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time I would, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be changeable, longing and liking, full of tears, full of smiles, would now like him, and then loathe him, and then entertain him, and then forswear him, and then weep for him, and spit at him. I drove my suitor from his mad humour of love to a living humour of madness, and thus, yeah, cured him.
I would not be cured, youth.
Well, I would cure you, if you would but, call me Rosalind, and come every day to my coat and woo me.
Now by my faith of love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
No, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Come apace, good Audrey. I will fetch up your goats, Audrey. And how, Audrey? Am I the man yet? Doth my simple feature content you?
Your features? Lord warned us. What features?
I'm here with thee and thy goats, as the most capricious poet honest Ovid was among the Goths.
Oh, knowledge ill-inhabited, worse than Jove in a thatched house.
Truly, I would the gods have made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it a true thing?
No, truly, for the truest poetry is the most feigning, and lovers are given to poetry, and what they swear in poetry may be said as lovers they do feign.
Do you wish then that the gods had made me poetical?
I do, truly, for thou swearest to me thou art honest. Now, if thou wert a poet, I might have some hope thou didst feign.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly, unless thou wert hard favored, for honesty coupled to beauty is to have honey a sauce to sugar.
A material fool.
Well, I am not fair, and therefore I pray the gods make me honest.
Be it as it may, I will marry thee, and to that end I have been with Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar of the next village, who hath promised to meet me in this place. Here comes Sir Oliver. Sir Oliver Martex, you are well met. Will you dispatch us here under this tree, or shall we go with you to your chapel?
Is there none here to give the woman?
I will not take her on gift of any man.
Truly she must be given, or the marriage is not lawful.
Proceed. Proceed. I'll give her.
Good mistress, what you call it? How do you, ma'am?
Oh, will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, sir, so man hath his desires.
And will you, being a man of your breeding, be married under a bush like a beggar? Get you to a church and have a good priest that can tell you what marriage is. This fellow will, but join you together as they join wainscot, and then one of you will prove a shrunk panel and like green timber warp.
I am not in the mind, but I were better to be married of him than of another, for he is not like to marry me well, and not being well married, it will be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave my wife.
Go with me. Let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married, or we must live in Baudry.
Is no matter.
Never talk to me. I will weep.
Do I prithee but have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man?
Well, have I not cause to weep?
As good as cause as anyone would desire. Therefore weep.
Why did he swear that he would come this morning, and he comes not?
Nay, certainly. There is no truth in him.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he is not in.
You have heard him swear downright he was.
Was is not is. Besides, the oath of a lover is no stronger than the word of a tapster. They're both the confirmer of false reckonings. He attends here in the forest on the Duke of your father.
I met the Duke yesterday, and I had much question with him. He asked me of what parentage I was. I told him of as good as he. So he laughed, and he let me go. Ugh. But what talk we of fathers when there is such a man as Orlando?
Oh, that's a brave man. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and breaks them bravely. But that's all brave that young mounts in folly guides. Who comes here?
Mistress, master, you have often inquired after the shepherd that complained of love, who you saw sitting by me on the turf, praising the proud, disdainful shepherdess that was his mistress.
Well, and what of him?
If you will see a pageant truly played, between the pale complexion of true love and the red glow of scorn and proud disdain, go hence a little, and I shall conduct you, if you will mark it.
Oh, come, let us remove the sight of lovers feedeth those in love. Bring us to this sight, and you shall say I'll prove a busy actor in their play.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me. Do not, Phoebe, say that you love me not, but say not so in bitterness. The common executioner, whose heart the accustomed sight of death makes hard, falls not the axe upon the humbled neck, but first begs pardon. Will you sterner be than he that dies and lives by bloody drops?
I would not be thy executioner. I fly thee, I would not injure thee. That tells me there is murder in my eye. It's pretty sure and very probable that eyes that are the frailest and softest things, who shut their coward gates against atomies, should be called tyrants, butchers, murderers. Now do I frown on thee with all my heart. And if mine eyes can wound, now let them kill thee. Now counterfeit to swoon, why now fall down? Thou canst not, oh shame, for shame. Lie not to say mine eyes are murderers. Now show the wound mine eye hath made in thee. Scratch thee but with a pin, and there remains some scar of it. But now mine eyes, which I have darted at thee, hurt thee not. Nor I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do hurt.
Dear Phoebe, if ever, as that ever may be near, you meet in some fresh cheek the power of fancy, then you shall know the wounds invisible that love's keen arrows make.
Oh, but till that time, come not thou near me. And when that time comes, afflict me with thy mock. Pity me not, as till that time I shall not pity thee.
And why, I pray you? Who might be your mother that you insult, exult, and all at once over the wretched? What? Though you have no beauty, as by my faith I see no more in you than without candle may go dark to bed, must you therefore be proud and pitiless? Why? Wow. What mean you this? Why do you look on me? Ah, it's my life. I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your black silk hair, your bugle eyeballs, nor your cheek of cream that can entame my spirits to your worship. You foolish shepherd, wherefore do you follow her? Like foggy south, puffin' with wind and rain, you are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. Puh. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world full of ill-favored children. 'Tis not her glass, but you that flatters her. And out of you she sees herself more proper than any of her lineaments can show her. But mistress, know yourself. Down on your knees, and thank heaven fasting for a good man's love, for I must tell you friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets.
Sweet youth, I pray you, chide a year together. I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
Why look you so upon me?
For no ill will I bear you.
I pray you, do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Shepherd, ply her hard. Come, sister, shepherdess, look on him better, and be not proud, for all the world could see, none could be so abused in sight as he. Come, to our flock.
Dead shepherd, how I find the sore of might. Whoever loved that loved not at first sight.
Sweet Phoebe?
Huh? What sayest thou, Silvius?
Sweet Phoebe, pity me.
Why, I am sorry for thee, gentle Silvius.
Wherever sorrow is, relief would be. If you do sorrow at my grief and love, by giving love your sorrow and my grief were both extermined.
Thou hast my love, is not that neighbourly?
I would have you.
Well, that were covetousness. Silvius, the time was that I hated thee, and yet it is not that I bear thee love, but since that thou canst talk of love so well, thy company, which erst was irksome to me, I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. Do not look for further recompense, thine own gladness that thou art employed.
Loose now and then a scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowest thou that youth that spoke to me erewhile?
Not very well, but I have met him oft.
Think not, I love him, though I ask for him. He's but a peevish boy, yet he talks well. But what do I care for words? Yet words do well when he speaks them, pleases those that hear. It is a pretty youth. Not very pretty, but sure, he's proud, and yet his pride becomes him. He'll make a proper man. The best thing in him is his complexion, and faster than his tongue. To make offence, his eye did heal it up. He is not very tall. For his years, he's tall. There'll be some women, Silvius, had they marked him in parcels as I did, would have gone near to fall in love with him. But for my part, love him not, nor hate him not, and yet I have more cause to hate him than to love him. For what had he to do to chide at me? He said mine eyes were black, and my hair black. And now I am remembered, scorned at me. I marvel why I answered not again. That's all one. Admittance is not quittance. I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvius?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter's in my head and in my heart. I will bear with him, and passing shot. Go with me, Silvius.
Pretty youth, let me be better acquainted with thee.
They say you are a melancholy fellow.
I am, so I do love it better than laughing.
Those that are in extremity of either are abominable fellows, and betray themselves to every modern censure worse than drunkards.
Oh, 'tis good to be sad and say nothing.
Why then, 'tis good to be a post.
I have neither the scholar's melancholy, which is emulation, nor the musicians, which is but fantastical, nor the courtiers, which is proud, nor the soldiers, which is ambitious, nor the lawyers, which is politic, nor the ladies, which is nice, nor the lovers, which is all of these. But it is a melancholy of mine own, compounded of many simples, extracted from many objects, and indeed the sundry contemplations of my travels, in which my often rumination wraps me in a most humorous sadness.
Ah, traveller. By my faith, you have great reason to be sad. I fear you've sold your own lands to see other men's, and then to have much, and seen much, and have nothing, is to have rich eyes and poor hands.
Yes, I have gained my experience.
And your experience makes you sad. I'd rather have a fool to make me merry than experience to make me sad, and to travel for it, too. Look you, lisp, wear strange suits, disable all the benefits of your own country, be out of love with your nativity, and almost chide God for making you that countenance you are, or I will scarce think that you have swam in a gondola.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You a lover? Ah, you serve me such another trick, never come in my sight more.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
I'll break an hour's promise in love? He that will divide a minute into 1,000 parts and break but a part of the 1,000th part of a minute in the affairs of love, it may be said of him that Cupid hath clapped him on the shoulder, but I'll warrant him hard whole.
Pardon me, dear Rosalind.
Oh, come. Woo me. Woo me, for now. I am in a holiday humor and will not to consent. What would you say to me now? And I will be very, very Rosalind.
I'd kiss before I spoke.
Nay, you will better speak first. You might take occasion to kiss.
Well, how if the kiss be denied?
Then she puts you to entreaty, and there begins new matter. Am not I your Rosalind?
I take some joy to say you are, because I would be talking of her.
Well, in her person, I say I will not have you.
Then in my own person I die.
Oh, the poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all this time there was not any man died in a love cause. I mean, men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love.
I would not have my right, Rosalind, of this mind, for I protest, her frown might kill me.
By this hand, it will not kill a fly. Now come, come now. I will be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition, and ask me what you will, and I will grant it.
Then love me, Rosalind.
Yes. Yeah. It. Will I? Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
Aye, and 20 such.
What sayest thou?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Ah, then can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister. You shall be the priest and marry us. Give me a hand, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
Pray thee, marry us.
I cannot say the word.
You must begin, will you, Orlando?
Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
Aye, but when?
Why now? As fast as she can marry us.
And you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I might ask you for your commission, but I do take thee, Orlando, for my husband. As a girl goes before the priest, and certainly a woman's thought runs before her actions.
So do all thoughts, they're winged.
Now, tell me, how long would you have her after you possessed her?
Forever. And a day.
Oh, say a day without the ever. No, Orlando. Men are April when they woo, December when they wed, maids are May when they are maids, but the sky changes when they are wives. I will be more jealous of thee than a Barbary cock pigeon over his head, more clamorous than a parrot against the rain, more newfangled than an ape, and more giddy in my desires than a monkey. I will weep for nothing, like Diana in the fountain, and I will do that when you are disposed to be merry, and I will laugh like a hyena, and I'll do that when you are inclined to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do so?
Oh, by my life, she will do as I do.
Oh, but she's wise!
Or else she could not have the wit to do this. The wiser the waywarder.
And a man that had a wife with such a wit, he might say wit with a wilt.
Nay, you might keep that check for till you met your wife going to your neighbor's bed.
And what wit could wit have to excuse that?
Well, Mary, to say she came to seek you there. No, you shall never take her without her answer, unless you take her without a tongue.
For these 2 hours, Rosalind, I'll leave thee.
Alas, dear love, I cannot lack thee 2 hours!
I must attend the Duke at dinner. By 2 o'clock, I will be with thee again.
Aye. Go your ways, go your ways. I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and I thought no less. That flattering tongue of yours won me but 'tis cast away, and so come death! 2 o'clock is your hour.
Hey, sweet Rosalind.
By my troth. And good earnest, if you break one jot of your promise, or come 1 minute behind your hour, I will think you the most pathetical break promise, and the most hollow lover, and the most unworthy of her you call Rosalind. Therefore, beware my censure, and keep your promise.
With no less religion than if thou wert indeed my Rosalind, so adieu.
Well, time is the old justice that examines all such offenders, and let time try. Adieu.
You have simply misused our sex in your love prate.
Oh, my cuz, my pretty little cuz, that thou didst know how many fathom deep I am in love. Oh, no, I'll tell thee. I cannot be out of the sight of Orlando. I'm gonna go find a shadow and sigh till he come.
And I'll sleep.
Who is it who killed a deer?
Sir, it was I?
Oh, well, let's present you to the Duke, then! Like a Roman conqueror, and it would do well to set the, deer's horns upon your head for a branch of victory. Oh, come on, have you no song, Forester, for this purpose?
Yes, sir.
I'll sing it. 'Tis no matter how it be in tune, so it make noise enough.
But shall he have that killed a deer, his leather skin and horns to wear? Then sing him so, and the rest shall bear this burden. Take thou no scorn to wear the horn, it was a crest out there was born. Thy fathers wore it, and thy father bore it. The horn, the lusty horn, it's not a thing to laugh or scorn.
Oh, I'll say you now, it's not past 2 o'clock, and yet here much Orlando.
My errand is to you, fair youth. My gentle Phoebe bid me give you this. I know not the contents, but as I guess by the stern brow and waspish action which she did use as she was writing of it, it bears an angry tenor. Pardon me, I am but as a guiltless messenger.
Patience yourself would startle at this letter, and play the swaggerer. Bear this, bear all. Why writes she so to me? Well, Shepard, well, this is a letter of your own device.
No, I protest. I know not the contents. Phoebe did write it.
Oh, come, you're a fool. And turned into the extremity of love. I say she never did invent this letter. This is a man's invention in his hand.
Sure, it is hers.
Why, 'tis a boisterous and a cruel style. A style for challenges. Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
She Phoebe's me. Mock me how the tyrant writes. Whiles you chid me, I did love. How might then your prayers move? He that brings this love to thee little knows this love in me. And by him sell up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will the faithful offer take of me and all that I can make. Or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this chiding?
Oh, alas, poor shepherd.
Do you pity him? No, he deserves no pity. Wilt thou love such a woman? What? To make thee an instrument and play false strains upon thee? Not to be endured! Ah! If you be a true lover, hence, and not a word. Oh, no, here comes more company.
Good morrow, fair ones! If that an eye may profit by a tongue, then should I know you by description. Orlando doth commend him to you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind, he sends this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame, if you will know of me what man I am, and how and why and where this handkerchief was stained.
I pray you tell it.
When last the young Orlando parted from you, he left a promise to return again within an hour, and pacing through the forest, chewing the food of sweet and bitter fancy, lo what befell. He threw his eye aside, and mark what object did present itself. Under an oak, a wretched, ragged man lay sleeping on his back. About his neck a green and gilded snake had wreathed itself, who with her nimble head in threats approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it unlinked itself, and with intended glides did slip away into a bush, under which bush's shade a lioness with udders all drawn dry lay couching head on ground with cat-like watch. When that the sleeping man should stir, but is the royal disposition of that beast to prey on nothing that doth seem as dead. This seen, Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
Oh, I have heard him speak of that same brother, and he did render him the most unnatural that lived amongst men.
And well might so he do, for well I know he was unnatural.
But to Orlando did he leave him there, food to the sucked and hungry lioness?
Twice he did return his back, and purpose so. But kindness, nobler ever than revenge, and nature, stronger than his just occasion, made him give battle to the lioness, who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you his brother?
Was you he rescued?
Was you that did so oft contrive to kill him?
'Twas I, but 'tis not I. I do not shame to tell you what I was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am.
But for the bloody napkin?
By and by. In brief, he led me to the gentle Duke, who gave me fresh array and entertainment, committing me unto my brother's love, who led me instantly unto his cave, there stripped himself, and here upon his arm the lioness had torn some flesh away, which all this while had bled, and now he fainted, and cried in fainting upon Rosalind. Brief, I recovered him, bound up his wound, and after some small space, being strong at heart, he sent me hither, stranger as I am, to tell this story, that you might excuse his broken promise, and to give this napkin, dyed in his blood unto the shepherd youth, that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Why, now, Ganymede, sweet Ganymede!
Many will swoon when they do look on blood.
There's more in it. Cousin Ganymede!
Look, he recovers.
Would I were at home.
We'll lead you hither. I pray you, will you take him by the arm?
Be of good cheer, youth. You a man, you lack a man's heart.
Oh, I do so, I confess it. Sirrah, a body would think this was well counterfeited. I pray you tell your brother how well I counterfeited. Oh.
This was not counterfeit. There's too great testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
No, counterfeit, I assure you.
You look paler and paler. Pray you, draw homewards. Good sir, go with us.
That will I, for I must bear answer back how you excuse my brother, Rosalind.
I shall devise something, but I pray you commend my counterfeiting to him. Will you go?
We shall find a time, Audrey. Patience, gentle Audrey. Audrey, there is a youth here in the forest lays claim to you.
Aye, I know who 'tis. He hath no interest in me in the world. Here comes the man you mean.
It is meat and drink to me to see a clown. By my troth, we that have good wits have much to answer for. We shall be flouting we cannot hold.
Good even, Audrey.
Got ye good even, William.
And good even to you, sir.
Good even, gentle friend. How old are you, friend?
5 and 30, sir.
A ripe to rotting age. Is thy name William?
William, sir.
Fair name. Was born in the forest here?
Aye, sir. I thank God.
Thank God. A good answer. Art rich?
Faith, sir. So-so?
So-so is good. Very excellent good. And yet it is not. It is but so-so. Art thou wise?
Aye, sir. I have a pretty wit.
Why, thou sayest well. I do now remember a saying, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool. You do love this maid?
I do, sir.
Give me your hand. Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this of me. To have is to have, for it is a figure in rhetoric that drink being poured out of a cup into a glass by filling the one doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that ipsi is he. Now you are not ipsi, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown, abandon, which is in the vulgar, leave the society, which in the boorish is company, of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is abandon the society of this female, or clown, thou perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or to wit, I kill thee, make thee away, translate thy life into death, thy liberty into bondage, I will deal in poison with thee, or in bastinado, or in steel, I will kill thee 150 ways, therefore tremble and depart.
Do good, William.
God rest you merry, sir.
Our master and mistress seeks you. Come away.
Trip, Audrey, I attend.
It's possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her, but seeing you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should so grant. What, to persever to enjoy her?
Neither call the giddiness of it in question, the poverty of her, the small acquaintance, my sudden wooing, or her sudden consenting. But say with me, I love Aliena.
You have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Thither will I invite the Duke and all content followers. Go you and prepare Aliena. For look you, here comes my Rosalind.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister?
Oh, my dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy hat and a scarf.
It's my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded by the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, but with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon when he showed me that handkerchief?
Aye, and greater wonders than that.
Oh, I know where you are. Nay, 'tis true, there was never anything so sudden. They are in the very wrath of love, and they will together. Cubs cannot part them.
But they shall be married tomorrow, and I will bid the Duke to nuptial. But, oh, how a bitter thing it is to look into happiness in another man's eyes. By so much the more shall I tomorrow be at the height of heart heaviness, by how much I shall think my brother happy in having what he wishes for.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind.
I can no longer live by thinking.
I will weary you then no longer with idle talking. If you do love Rosalind so near the heart as your gesture cries out, when your brother marries Aliena, shall you marry her? I know into what straits of fortunes she is driven, and it is not impossible to me.
Speaks thou in sober meanings.
By my life, I do, which I tender dearly, though I say I am a magician. Therefore put you in your best array, bid your friends, for if you will be married tomorrow, you shall, and to Rosalind, if you will. Oh, look, here comes a lover of mine and a lover of hers.
Youth, you have done me much ungentleness to show that letter that I wrote to you.
I cannot if I have. It is my study to seem despiteful and ungentle to you. You are there followed by a faithful shepherd. Look upon him, love him. He worships you.
A shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be made all sighs of tears, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be made of faith and service, and so am I for Phoebe.
And I for Ganymede.
And I for Rosalind.
And I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all adoration, duty, and observance, all humbleness, all patience and impatience, all purity, all trial, all observance, and so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
Well, if this be
If this
so,
be so, why blame you to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Who do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
To her that is not here, nor does not hear.
Pray, pray, no more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. Silvius, I would help you if I can. Phoebes, I would love you if I could. Tomorrow, meet me all together. Phoebes, I will marry you if ever I marry any woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. Orlando, I will satisfy you if ever I satisfied man, and you shall be married tomorrow. Silvius, I will content you, if what pleases you contents you, and you shall be married tomorrow. Orlando, as you love Rosalind, meet. Silvius, as you love Phoebe, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet. So fare you well, I have left your commands.
I'll not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Tomorrow's the joyful day, Audrey. Tomorrow we will be married.
I do desire it with all my heart. And I hope it is no dishonest desire to be a woman of the world.
Oh, well met, honest gentleman.
By my troth, well met. Come, sit, and a song.
Oh, I am for you. Mary had a little lamb whose fleece was black as coal, yeah. And everywhere that child went, little lamb was sure to go, yeah. He followed her to school one day and broke the teacher's rule, yeah. Oh, what a time did they have that day at school, yeah.
Truly, friend. Though there was no great matter in the ditty, yet the note was very untunable.
Ah, you are deceived, sir.
By my troth, yes, I count it, but time lost to hear such a foolish song. God be with you, and God mend your voice. Come, Audrey.
Dost thou believe, Orlando, that the boy can do all this that he hath promised?
I sometimes do believe and sometimes do not, and as those that fear they hope and know they fear.
Patience, once more, whilst our compact is urged. Duke, you say if I bring in your Rosalind, you will bestow her here on Orlando?
That would I, had I kingdoms to give with her.
Orlando, you say you will have her when I bring her.
That would I, were I of all kingdoms king.
Phoebe, you say you'll marry me if I be willing.
Will I? Should I die the hour after?
But if you do refuse to marry me, you'll give yourself to this most faithful shepherd.
So is the bargain.
Silvius, you say that you'll have Phoebes if she will.
Though to have her and death were both one thing.
Okay, I have promised to make all this matter even. Keep your word, and from hence I go, to make these doubts all even.
I do remember in this shepherd boy some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
Oh, there is sure another flood toward, and these couples are coming to the ark. Here comes a pair of very strange beasts, which in all tongues are called fools.
Salutation and greeting to you all.
Good, my lord, bid him welcome. This is the motley-minded gentleman I have so often met in the forest. He hath been a courtier, he swears.
If any man doubt that, let him put me to my purgation. I have trod a measure. I have flattered a lady. I have been politic with my friend, smooth with mine enemy. I have undone 3 tailors, and I have had 4 quarrels, and like to have fought one.
And how is that taken up?
Oh, I'll tell you. Faith, we met and found the quarrel was upon the 7th cause.
How 7th cause? Good, my lord, like you this fellow?
I like him very well.
But for the 7th cause, how did you find the quarrel upon the 7th cause?
Upon a lie 7 times removed. Bear your body more seeming, Audrey. As thus, sir, I did dislike the cut of a certain courtier's beard. He sent me word. If I said his beard was not cut well, he, in the mind, it was. This is called the retort courteous. If I sent him word again, it was not well cut, he would send me word. He cut it to please himself. This is called the quip modest. If again it was not well cut, he disabled my judgment. This is called the reply churlish. If again it was not well cut, he would answer, I spake not true. This is called the reprove valiant. If again it was not well cut, he would say I lied. This is called the counter check quarrelsome, and so to the lie circumstantial and the lie direct.
And how oft did you say his beard was not well cut?
I durst go no further than the lie circumstantial, nor he durst not give me the lie direct. And so we measured swords and parted.
Can you nominate now, in order, the degrees of the lie?
Oh, sir, We quarrel in print by the book. As you have books for good manners, I will name you the degrees. The first, the retort courteous. The second, the quip modest. The third, the reply churlish. The fourth, the reproof valiant. The fifth, the counter check quarrelsome. The sixth, the lie with circumstance. The seventh, the lie direct. All these you may avoid, but the lie direct. And you may avoid that too with an if. I knew when 7 justices could not take up a quarrel, but when the parties were met themselves, one of them thought but of an if. As if you said so, then I said so. And they shook hands and swore brothers. Your if is the only peacemaker. Much virtue in if.
Is this not a rare fellow, my lord? He's as good at anything, and yet a fool.
Uses his folly like a stalking horse, and under the presentation of that he shoots his wit.
Morning, still covered by moonlight. The dress doesn't fit right today. Car's gone, was left on the highway. He didn't have much to say about that. Lord, watch over me. Tell me that we aren't being fools. Angel, give me way. Help me to say I do. And I live a perfect life, not so perfect life with you. I'll give you everything, almost everything, and something blue. So marry me, marry me, marry me on Main Street. Oh, marry me, marry me, marry me on Main.
Father, to you I give myself, for I am yours. Orlando, to you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
There be truth in sight, you're my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then my love, adieu.
I'll have no father if you be not he. I'll have no husband if you be not he, nor ne'er wed woman if you be not she.
Oh, my dear niece, welcome thou art to me. Even daughter, welcome in no less degree.
I will not eat my word. Now thou art mine. Thy faith, my fancy to thee doth combine.
Let me have audience for a word or two. Duke Frederick, hearing how that every day men of great worth resorted to this forest, addressed a mighty power, which were on foot in his own conduct purposely to take his brother here and put him to the sword. And to the skirts of this wild wood he came, where meeting with an old religious man, after some question with him, was converted both from his enterprise and from the world, his crown bequeathing to his banished brother, and all their lands restored to them again that were with him exiled. This to be true, I do engage my life.
Welcome, and fall into a rustic revelry. Play music, and you, brides and bridegrooms all, with measure heaped in joy to the measure's fall.
Sir, by your patience, if I heard you rightly, the Duke hath put on a religious life and thrown into neglect the pompous court?
He hath.
To him will I, out of these convertites, there's much matter to be heard and to be learned. Duke, you to your former honor I bequeath your patience and your virtue. Well deserves it. Orlando, that's what it was. You to a love that your true faith doth merit. Oliver, you to your land and your love and your great allies. Silvius, whoa, to a long, well-deserved bed. And Touchstone, you to wrangling for thy loving voyages, but 2 months victualled. So to your pleasures I am for other than dancing measures.
Oh, stay, Jacques, stay.
To see no pastime, what you would have, I'll stay to know at your abandoned cave.
Proceed, proceed. We will begin these rites, as we do trust they'll end in true delights.
Midday on the 4th of July, the only date they could buy at the time. She wore her Juliet cap over her curls that were undone. Sister cries in the kitchen for what she thought she was missing herself. Best man high in the bathroom, he saves a hit for the groom who needed it more. And I live a perfect life, not so perfect life with you. I'll give you everything, almost everything, and something blue. So marry me, marry me, marry me on Main Street. Oh, marry me, marry me, marry me on Main Street. And I live a perfect life, not so perfect life with you. I'll give you everything, almost everything, and something blue.
It is not the fashion to see the lady the epilogue, but it is no more unhandsome than to see the lord the prologue. If it be true that good wine needs no bush, 'tis true that a good play needs no epilogue. Yet, to good wine they do use good bushes, and good plays prove more better by the help of a good epilogue. What a case am I in, then, that am neither a good epilogue nor can insinuate with you on the behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, or a beggar, and therefore to beg will not become me. My way is to conjure you, and I will begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love that you bear to men, to like as much of this play that please you. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, as I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play may please. And if I were a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that pleased me, complexions that liked me, and breasts that I defied not. And I am sure as many as have good beards or good faces or sweet breaths will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.
Beautifully done, y'all.
Welcome to the post-show Q&A.
Danny, are you crying?
No. No, it's
Ian?
allergy season up here.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah. I mean, yes, I'm crying.
Okay.
I cry sometimes.
It's better to be weak and have allergies.
We'll pop right into the Q&A with the cast. The 3 questions we ask every time, 90-ish seconds for the cast. Please pop into the YouTube chat with responses of your own and with questions you'd like to ask, which we'll get to right after these first 3. But we'll hop right in on this one. The first question is, what did you learn about this play that you didn't know before today?
I'll go first. I have always hated this play. I don't think I've ever seen a good production of it. Seriously. And maybe that's why. But today I thought, oh my God, this is the most beautiful love story. Oh my God, this is wonderful. And so, yeah, you've completely changed how I feel about this play. I could remember before was some guy dancing like a deer in the forest and getting shot. I mean, it was bad. This is good.
Yeah, I'm with Deb. I started off not a very big fan of this play. And it both in today's production, just like an affiance for the people that you work with. And you're like, oh, my lovely friends, like doing really lovely work. It also contextualized, like, I like Shakespeare for very different reasons than other people. And his work is the canon is so broad that there is this kind of play and Hamlet and Coriolanus and the King Henry VIII. Like, it contains all of those major tropes and types of stories that we love, because someone else, this is like right up their alley, this like beautiful romantic comedy. And just because that's not what draws me to it, he's still genius at it, which is fucking bonkers. It freaking bonkers to me.
Watch your fucking language, man. Come on now. Act right.
Anyone else?
From the YouTube, we have lots of so wonderfuls. That was wonderful. Y'all are wonderful. So lots of wonderful stuff. But I don't think that's new to anybody who's seen y'all before. We do have a real sweetness came through in this reading, which I do think is I think that honest connection is something that I agree, Deb, often does seem to be missing in this one for whatever reason. And we have there were a lot of comments earlier about people like forgetting that this play has this brilliant epilogue, and then realizing as it was starting. And I think it's the most beautiful epilogue in the canon as well. Anything else at the end? An echo of Deb's comments about how you don't see very many good productions of this show. So yeah.
Awesome. The second question for the group and for the audience at home. I guess we're all at home. The question is, what images, words, phrases popped from the reading, the listening, the hearing, the speaking today? Images, phrases, words that popped out for you.
A traveler. Did the Jacques, Rosalind, oh, youth, I want to talk to you and everything, why it's good to be a post thing. And then he goes through this for, nobody's asked him to, his various melancholies that he doesn't have. And Rosalind, and he does this speech, and then she goes, a traveler. She gets the nut. The only important thing that he said in the entire speech is that I went out and looked for this stuff, and I'm still melancholy. She is so smart. The thing because I love this show, but the thing I take away from it is how smart the character of Rosalind is. The only area she has of crazy is Orlando. Other than that, she looks at people, she sees them as they are, she fixes problems. There are 2 really smart people in this show, Rosalind and Corin. I mean, I really believe this. but it's a traveler, and I was like listening to it, and Drew's doing I have neither the blah of melancholy, and she goes, a traveler. I went, wow. Yeah, so anyway, that was new to me.
I heard the both Chris and Rosalind talking about harming the trees. That was the first time I'd actually sunk in.
Yeah, sell what you can. You are not of all markets. You're not for all market. That was the first time I really heard.
I love that.
I had forgot one of my favorite speeches in Shakespeare is the Duke Senior, the very first, I think, speech, but in nature and how grateful, like, especially now, like, we haven't been out in the forest in a long time, like, personally, I've been in the city, we can't really go anywhere, and just to be like, find tongues in trees and books and running brooks, to be reminded of just like a walk in the forest and how like so peaceful and so nice that is, and reminded me of how special that is.
On that, from the YouTube chat, Ella Mock says, and this our life exempt from public haunt, relevant. Also called out Rosalind's line early in the show, my child's father. I'm talking about Orlando. Later on, more recent comments, we are not alone unhappy. How that had a little more resonance than in prior renditions. And a comment that has been seconded, the fool doth think he is wise, but the wise man knows himself to be a fool.
It was 12th night, right? Is that what we just did? We just read 12th night, right? Yeah.
It's all the same. Who can keep them straight?
Yo, and this I heard the music. God, it was so easy to feel like I wasn't in my home. And how can you not fall in love when this is the soundtrack? And it's not being used to like leverage a play that can't get you somewhere. It's built in. Like, you're supposed to hear songs at these times, and you're supposed to have this character who arrives and just like ushers you into a place of listening. And holy shit, Kara, with the tunes you brought in. Whether Shakespeare wrote the words or you did, or it was unreal. It was seamless, and I just found myself listening and like, oh, it really did feel like I was being kind of lifted and carried off to a place that I haven't been to in a long time, or like maybe we've never been to. So you just and then to steal that ending, like, holy cow, you just transported us. So amazing, totally amazing.
I couldn't agree more, and I think with all the nodding, I think that's same with everyone. But there's something about when the music comes in at the points it does, you really need it. As an audience member, you need it at that point, and the characters need it. It's not just there to play a nice song, it's doing something to us all.
Yeah, I wonder about that because in the productions that I've seen, and a lot of times in Shakespeare, the music is just cut. It's like, oh, we don't need that. Oh, it's extraneous. But maybe one of the reasons I really loved this so much this time was because of the music element in it, and it seems so intricately interwoven with the rest of the text. You do need it at the time that it comes in. We need a breath. We need a breather. We need something.
People need to realize that 12th Night and As You Like It are definitely musicals.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool to see them two in the same week. In this, like, he's working on it at the same time, like not necessarily the same exact time, but like.
When even with Hamlet, right? Like Ophelia's song, I found such like the music in these plays seems dramatically important in a way that is really unified in this little period, which is interesting.
It feels like the heartbeat of the play. And
seeing Drew and Kara too playing together, and I think a lot of there's so many beautiful moments and so much joy came from watching that and seeing how as an ensemble everyone's growing, but you two were just like bam bam playing a little tennis match like as musicians and giving to each other. It was so fun. It was absolutely breathtaking.
I'm not sure, we may be answering this question, but just to bring it to the table, the third question is, why does this play matter right now? Why does this play matter to you right now? I don't want to step over and say that we are answering that question, but to bring that question to the table in addition to the conversation that's going on. Why does this play matter to you right now? Or why doesn't it matter to you right now?
For me, a big thing, which for me has always been one of the themes of this play that I really love, and there's a few Shakespeares like it, of redemption. Pretty much every character in this play becomes a better human being by the end of it. By being alienated from their life, by being taken away out of their life or being forced out of it in some way, they end up becoming quite reflective over the life that they've had, and therefore becoming better for it and learning something about themselves and something about the people around them, either by being attacked or being taken away. And I guess if you wanted to really make it specific, with everything going on at the minute, with being kept at home, we've got a hell of a lot of time to think about what we were doing when we were outside and how we might change after that. I know there's loads of talk in different places about how the world is going to change after what's going on at the minute. So the universal theme of redemption and being able to reflect on who you are and what you're doing, that also has, I find, quite a micro relevance.
I think to cap on that, Tom, is it just seems to be so necessary for today that if you would go to the forest, if you would just return to the natural world, that there's hope, that there's some sort of hope there, and that there is hope for humans coming together, humans being kind to one another, humans being humane to one another. That humanity can be humane. And to me, that's the biggest thing that I get out of today's reading as it sits in today's world.
Yeah. Well, it's that beautiful Rosalind speech to Phoebe when she's saying, basically, just stop being a bitch and look at what you've got in front of you. I love it. Absolutely love it since I first ever read it. And it's just, it's someone going, there's a great speech about it, or there's other speeches that's similar, but it's that sort of, you don't know what you've got till it's gone, and really look around you and count the blessings that you've got immediately near you. Is a beautiful and helpful sentiment, I think.
But that's one of the things about Rosalind is she, and I will say it again, Corin are the two characters that spend their time talking about the world outside themselves. That they help, that they look at the other people and they go, no, you're messing up with Silvius here. And Corin says, it's like, well, no, I'll help you. And it's not about them so much as it is about the other people. Whereas most of the other people in the show, as most of us are, a little sort of self-absorbed. The Duke actually is not so much. He's like there to help everybody, but yeah. But that's, the speech to Phoebe is a great example of that.
And on that, I'm going to throw it to the YouTube chat. On the last answer, we have another thought of the phrases. Blow thou winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. And then on this question, we have a comment about it being the escapism of the play, the delightful love stories of people newly met, the fantasy of escaping out into the woods, things that aren't accessible to us right now. For another of our viewers, that the play makes you think about what is more important in life, positions of worldly power or being caught up in the power of the heart and the natural world, which was seconded, and with a comment that this has been the most normal feeling Friday that Chelsea Kaufman has had since this all went down. So on that makes me feel super, super happy. We have a couple questions. The first one, and I think the most important one, actually came a little bit before we asked for the questions, from Amber Elby. When we saw this play in real life, my 11-year-old whispered, "Why would you marry a dude who didn't recognize you in a disguise?" First to us in here, and then to you on YouTube.
I got that. Because I respect her craft, and she is brilliant at what she does, and I appreciate that in my partner.
Jill and Kammerer are inside the actor's studio. Thank you.
Anyone else got thoughts from in here?
I mean, we could dig into this forever. So the nugget I'll drop is like the question I feel like always is, does he not recognize her or does he recognize her? And that's the fun thing to play with, you know? So I'll just leave that little seed there and it can grow however it wants.
My thought on that is just, it could be really useful that you know he won't recognize you if you go into disguise. Like, that's a really useful fact to have for the next however many decades. You know. And then another question, is this the happiest play?
So far.
I don't think there are any happier. I mean, it's a very happy play.
No one's died.
Well,
okay, yeah, but there's not like the total recall death count that some of them have.
Right.
I'd like to say that William got his heart broken, so no, this isn't a happy play.
That is one of the saddest moments. So.
It's so sad.
There's something in that though with William too, and with everyone else, and the fact, you know, going to that line from earlier, we are not all alone unhappy. I think whether or not this is the happiest play, it may be the play in which the most characters choose happiness. Where in the face of adversity, they say, two roads diverge in a yellow wood. And like, I'm taking the happy road, for better and for worse. I don't know.
Audrey has a cousin. Cousin comes to the wedding. She's great. William meets her. They fall in love, get married. Happy ending. I'm a little concerned about Silvius and Phoebe, frankly, in the next show, but that's, yeah. William, you do all right. You're a winner.
I appreciate the rewrite. Thank you.
No, yeah, you're all right.
Silvius and Phoebe is its own mismatched sitcom as the.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Neil Simon, right? No, it's whoever wrote "No Sex, Please" for British. Yeah.
Well, I already said that I would like to see the scene or the play between Duke Frederick and Malvolio when they come together. That could be pretty interesting.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Should write it.
The converted.
Yeah. American Shakespeare Center has that like paired plays program. Get that commission going. Come on now. Come on, Deb Kinghorn. I believe in you.
Let's just write it.
Right?
Are you up for it? We could do it.
Yeah. We have one more question from the audience, and then we're going to go to that Patreon company pub. And the final question is, for a play that's so much about place, what is it like performing in a very familiar space, home, which is at the same time very alien for the production of a play, not a theater?
I mean, I can't remember the last time I did a play in a theater. I mean that like last summer I did this play in the park across the street from my house. I had a theater company in New York where we did site-specific work. It's just like, I mean, I worked at the public, and so I have had a lot of like time being in and around beautiful theaters where Shakespeare is happening. But for me anyway, it's particularly now I feel well suited to whatever uncertain future lies ahead of us, because of the fact that, to me, theater can and should happen any and everywhere. And the fact that all of these plays, but particularly this one, because there's something about, I don't know, the way that that as everybody has pointed out, that it speaks to our current moment. There's just something about like, oh yeah, right. We can all be wherever. And that's how we make it magical.
I agree. I totally agree. Plus, I don't even think about it anymore. about being in my bedroom because my imagination is so immense that I can be anywhere. I don't really see this fan behind me and these blue walls or whatever. I am wherever I say I am.
Oh, and on that. What was that, Kara? Sorry.
I have toured with this woman. Believe
she's my
me,
favorite person.
it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On that, we're gonna wrap up the YouTube part of this. Some of us are gonna pop over to the company pub on Patreon. If you are a Patreoner at the well or the top shelf level, please join us tonight. We're doing something new. Patreon has grown. We got a big group tonight, so we're doing our first evening in that company pub with a breakout room. So if you are in the cast or Patreoner, when you get there, you'll find yourself put into a breakout room, which is called the table. And so we're looking at that as like we're sitting around and having nice, polite conversation about the play, as polite as we ever are.
And in the other room, there's a big fight.
That's right. So if you leave that table, it's not called the bar because we can't get a name on the general room. It's called the general meeting, which is super boring. So imagine it's called the bar. And you can go there and then talk about whatever the hell you want. Play, no play, free for all. Tom and I will be in a fight there for at least 45 minutes of the time.
Get in. Royal Rumble.
Yes, that's right.
I got $5 on Tom.
Go on, Dan.
I'm running out of shirts, man.
Dylan, I would put much more. I would put much more money. I would put everything. But yeah,
it's dollars. It's not pounds.
That's fair. That's fair. If you'd like to join us, the link is in the YouTube description, or just go to patreon.com/Shakespeare Happy Hours. If you sign up at that well level or above, we'll shoot you a link over to join us tonight. Otherwise, we'll see you back here on Monday for a little old play called Much Ado About Noting.
Woo! Yeah.
Mwah. Thank you all.
Bye.